Sack Life, beat depression. It's day 689 and I'm feeling fine. And today we're going to keep it that way with another Muay Thai session to wipe out depression. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here now. Anyone who's tuning in later, appreciate you guys and girls out there. As you know, it's a martial arts for mental health show. We like to focus in on those mental health tools first. The first one we use on most shows pretty much every single day is gratitude. A powerful gratitude tool. The more we use it, the easier it becomes to find those silver linings in life and the things to look forward to. So I want to shout out gratitude today to the first ones in, Mad with Hats and Simon Amaze. Simon said, hey everyone, have a wonderful day. Thanks for that positivity. Thanks for bringing in some support, Simon. And shout out to Hello Nurse and Lisa the Luminary. There she is. Thank you guys and girls so much for being here and for supporting each other, one another, and supporting yourselves, showing up for yourselves and showing up for each other at the same time. Before we start, that is my whole gratitude tool today. You know what? I'm wrong. We're also basing today's class on a technique that I saw on Niina Carita's page. So let's shout out some gratitude to Niina Carita. And since I'm on this mat out here training, I've got my shoes on from Century martial arts training shoes. They're going to help me make those rotations nice and easy for the roundhouse kicks we're going to be practicing. Whoop, pivots nice and easy. So I want to shout out some gratitude to Century Martial Arts. Also, for donating the Bob. Beat Depression Bob's back. We're back in the sack yard. Everything is good. And we've got tons of tools here to help us make that forward momentum, that progress in life, make it fun, make it easy, and make it doable. So let's check in on comments. That's all my gratitude going all over the place today. Plenty of things to be grateful for. Go ahead and think about the thing you're grateful for today, or multiple things, and that'll help put you in that positive mindset as we move into the lesson. Posted up the stance for us on the main page. I'm going to start doing that a little more often. That way, in case people don't know how to get access at sacklifeofficial.com, or they don't have time to get access to those stances, we'll have the stance guide up in the stories before we start the show. Think about your piece of gratitude, and we'll talk about the second mental health tool we use. That's the progress tracking tool. List, tracking, keeping track of your daily goal accomplishment. Whether it's this class or another class, or maybe it's a martial arts class or a training routine on the heavy bag, whatever it is, if it's something that you do for yourself that builds you up mentally and physically, then that's what I want you guys to keep track of. Make that your daily goal accomplishment and let that be your number. Keep track of the number of days you do that for yourself, and in that way you can have physical track record. You can have physical proof of how strong you are and how you have overcome the debilitating effects of depression. It's been 689 days of consecutive training in my life. For me, the Sackman. Let me know how many days it's been for you. And by sharing that number, we're able to inspire one another, motivate one another, and show each other that we're not alone out here, even though we're all dealing with things that make life difficult, that make it hard to get up out of bed or get into action. Even though we're dealing with those things, we're doing it. We're moving forwards. We're still here. We're getting stronger every single day, and you've got support. You're not alone. We're all out here together, moving forwards at an unbelievable pace. And Mad with Hat said, depression is a liar. Don't believe it, people. And peace to Simon. Appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. We know depression and anxiety are both dirty liars. They love to feed us things based on serotonin imbalance, based on nothing, based on lies. So we knock those lies out with the truth, right? That powerful number, that track record of success based in reality. Nothing can convince us otherwise because we've got proof. Even our own minds when we've got those thoughts coming in. So please do share that progress. Shout out to Slayer Ken. Thanks for being here. Just shared his progress. 297 days, almost 300 days, crushing those goals, consistent every day, moving forwards. Thank you, Ken, for being here. Appreciate that. I appreciate you sharing that number and helping inspire others. Now, we talked about gratitude. We talked about the number tool. Make sure you've got water. We're going to talk about the lesson a little bit. I mentioned earlier that it's going to be based a little bit on Niina Carita. She posted up a post on how to improve your roundhouse kicks, or how to train those roundhouse kicks and make them a little easier, a little more effective. And she said in this one, it's starting with a check, starting with a block on the same side, and then moving directly into roundhouse kicks is one thing that she noticed has helped her in her training, making those kicks easier to execute. So we're going to do the same thing in here. If you've got a Beat Depression Bob, if you've got a Bob dummy, boom, boom, feel free to use him for kicks. He's great for kicks. When you're practicing technique and accuracy, Bob's the way to go. If you want to really unload that stress and get a somatic release, get a really big release of that activated feeling, and that's those stressors, go with a heavy bag. Get yourself a nice heavy bag, maybe 80 pounds, something good for beginners, and you can really let loose, really drive through on those heavy bags with the roundhouse kicks. And in my personal experience, it feels amazing. That's why I take the bag with me everywhere I go. Every chance I get, I'm kicking that thing, because it feels great to get that energy out in a way that builds us up, builds me up physically and mentally. So we're going to talk about that check, that lead kick block, and then the roundhouse. We're also going to talk about the teep kick, and we're going to toss in some fundamentals like we always do. We'll have the jab and cross going in there. It's always a good idea to drill those fundamentals. You can never have too much in that training area. Practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Practice. I think I messed that up. But basically, even advanced martial artists will tell you it's always good to drill those fundamentals to stay sharp, sharpen those tools, stay on top of the game, and it's always a good benefit. We can always move forward. So let's talk about the check, let's talk about the teep, and talk about the roundhouse. And you guys already know the fundamentals. You've been here many days, so we won't cover that. We've got the stance guide up, so you should be prepared on that. Muay Thai stance, right? Nice and balanced. And let's pop into Muay Thai stance and cover those instructionals first. So from Muay Thai stance, guard high, everything's nice and balanced. We're going to talk about a lead block. We're blocking a kick from the lead side, a roundhouse kick coming in from the lead side. So what we're going to do is bring that knee up, boom, to the inside of the elbow, brace the side of the head with the fist, boom, top of the fist goes to the top of the head, and create that shell. When we create that shell, we're going to angle the body just a little bit, and we want to deflect that kick with the largest part of our shin. That's the heaviest duty, nice solid bone contact. So it's going to do a lot more damage to our opponent than to us. When we bring that knee up, right, we go to the inside of the elbow, so that if they land here, the legs coming up, sliding up, it'll catch on that sharp pointy part of the elbow. And if you saw the last UFC, when McGregor tossed that straight kick, his opponent blocked with an elbow. He caught that elbow, and that's pretty much what fractured that leg bone on McGregor and sent him down into serious injury. So that's what we want to do, not injure ourselves, but take less damage from the kick than we are actually giving back to the opponent. So we're always in a better position. So talk about that check again, lead check. We're going to bring the knee up to the inside of the elbow, brace the hands against the head, right? Create a shell. Rear check, same thing, just opposite side, knee up to the inside of the elbow, brace the side of the head, and back into your Muay Thai stance. Lead check, boom, point that toe down. That'll make the bone even more exposed there, get the meat out of the way, making an even more effective check there. Rear check, knee comes up to the inside of the elbow, boom, head braced on the hand, and we create that nice shell on the outside of our body, protecting us from damage. Shout out to Scoots, 3 up, thanks for being here. So we're talking about blocking kicks from Muay Thai stance, blocking that lead, boom, blocking the rear, boom, there it is, and we're back in the stance. Now to move over into the benefits of that check, helping our roundhouse kick as displayed by Niina Carita, we are going to go right from that check. As soon as the foot touches the ground, we're going to toss a roundhouse kick. Boom. So for the roundhouse kick, what we want to do is pivot. We're going to have to pivot on the planted foot and also rotate through the hips. It's all about that hip rotation when it comes to Muay Thai kicks and Muay Thai roundhouses. Our goal is to make contact with the shin, the hard part of the shin, and twist through those hips and chop through the body of our opponent. So going from our Muay Thai stance, I'll just demonstrate here on Bob. If you don't have a Bob, visualize that depression dummy. Assign it the word that you want to work on so you can consciously acknowledge what you're doing every day that you fight forward, which is get stronger and knock those lies out of depression, stupid face. And it's cooking out here. All right, square up with your depression dummy. Visualize that target. Go ahead and block that lead kick, right? Bringing the knee up high, pointing the toe, curling the body. And then as soon as the foot hits the ground, what we're going to do here is twist through the hips, chopping the arm and twisting the hips. We're going to be rotating on the ball of the back foot, twisting through that back foot. Boom, boom, pivoting on that back foot as we twist through those hips. And we're going to send that foot up, boom, and over. Now, if we're up on the ball of the foot here, we'll be able to pivot all the way around. I'll show you what I mean. We check the front kick, and then whoop, boom, and we pivot all the way around on the ball of that back foot. Let's do it with the rear kick this time. We're going to check the rear kick, bring the knee up to the inside of the elbow, back to stance, and now we're going to pivot on that front, turn the hip over, whoosh, and rotate on the ball of that front foot. Making sure we turn that hip over is how we get the right angle on that shin and make sure we can chop through that opponent. And we want to toss the arm as a counterweight to help us stay balanced the whole way through. If you don't have room to do these kicks, I know, Ken, you're practicing in an apartment and you might not have room for those kicks. So I want you guys to modify or adapt to your environment. If you don't have enough space to do roundhouse kicks, go ahead and slowly, after the check, right, slowly just turn the body, turn those hips, and just toss the leg up. Boom. Just practice that basic motion there. Boom. If you don't have enough room to extend the leg, just toss the knee. Boom. Twist through the hip, toss the knee. Practice going up on the calf, that rear calf muscle, right? Activate that calf, get up on the ball of the foot, and just turn through the hip, and make sure you get that chopping motion down. That way you can make progress even if you don't have room for the full kick. Shout out to Havoc at Official Wicked Fast. Thanks for the support, buddy. Thank you for being here. Still working on that content we made together. We did the world's hottest gummy bear challenge at 9 million Scoville units, 9 times hotter than a ghost pepper, 900 times hotter than a jalapeno. Did that challenge with Rook of Rookwave Switch and Official Wicked Fast, and we're going to have that content coming out soon, hopefully to raise awareness and empower others with free mental health tools. Now let's get back on track. We talked about the lead check, right into a roundhouse kick, pivoting on the ball of that back foot, and we talked about the rear check, boom, right into a rear roundhouse, twisting through and rotating around on the ball of that foot. Now, if you don't have the balance yet and you can't do a full 180 out of that roundhouse, don't do it. Just do a 90-degree turn, right? We're going to check, boom, and then toss the leg, boom, right there, and step into it. You can go slow. You can slow down that pace to your level so you can give yourself a challenge and still find room to grow. And then over time, it'll get easier and easier. Shout out to A+9, Paul Stephen Bear, and I am Carlson. Carlson! I'm training buddy out there in Cali, man. Can't wait to get back out there, do some training together. Thank you for being here and for being supportive. So we talked about a lot of things. We got the Muay Thai stance going. We got the guard, right? Checking those kicks. Lead roundhouse, boom, right there. Rear roundhouse, boom, right there. If you don't have the room to pivot, don't pivot all the way around. We're also going to talk a little bit about the teep. So with the teep, for Muay Thai stance, we're going to bring that leg up on one plane. Bring the hips back a little bit, right? And then exhale, driving that foot forwards, using the ball of the foot to push our opponent, boom. And right there, drive through those hips. Let the hips shift forwards as the shoulders move back to counterbalance that fighting power. Ooh, make sure you got water. It is cooking out here. I was just out in Vegas and it was like 120 degrees for a week, but no humidity, and that makes a difference. Out here, it's only 80, but I'm sweating like a beast. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Water's super important out here so that you can take care of your body and not work too hard. And that's it. We got a lot of things to cover. We're going to cover them all today. We're going to go at a reasonable pace. Set that goal for you to challenge you today to your level. We're not here to compete with each other. That's how you burn out. We're here to compete with ourselves. That's how we can make that continued progress. Enough chatting. Let's get into it.
You too. Careful.
Let's go with the metal beat today. Alright, go ahead and pop up into your Muay Thai stance. We're going to get this timer going. 3 rounds, 3 minutes each. 1 minute breaks in between to catch your breath and drink some water. And we're going to start with just checking some of those kicks and tossing a few jabs and cross in there for good measure. Here we go. Pop into that Muay Thai stance. Guard nice and high. Shift that weight forwards and backwards on the feet, on the balls of the feet, right? Keep those knees bent, chin tucked. Step in for 1, 2. Twist through the body, twisting through those shoulders. Turning those fists over. Pop, pop. Visualize that opponent and landing those knuckles right in the face of that depression dummy. Square up, hit him with the 1-2, and back to stance. Keep it moving. 1-2, back to stance. Now we're gonna start blocking some kicks. Visualize that opponent tossing a roundhouse kick to the side. Block with the lead and back to stance. Square up. Step in for the 1-2. Right down the pipe, straight down that center line. Keep the chin tucked. 1-2, let's go. Remember, moderate to your skill level. When I throw 1-2, you could throw a 4-hit combo. Back to stance, you could throw a 3-hit combo. Back to stance, you could push at a faster pace. Something that challenges you. Let's go. Hit that dummy in the face and fight for that quality of life that you deserve. Let's do it. Head him, knock those lies out. Let's go. Drive him down the center line, chin tucked. Keep that balance centered. Guard high by the brow line. Drive those fists. Let's go. Turn them over. And back to stance. Let's block some kicks. Lead kick, block. Back to stance. Jab cross. Back to stance. Rear kick. Let's block it. Boom. Bring that knee up to the inside of the elbow. Point the toe down and maintain that balance. Everything balanced. Step in for the 1-2. Back to stance. Lead check. Boom. Back to stance. Rear check. Boom. Back to stance. And keep it going. 1-2. Back to stance. 1-2. Back to stance. Lead check. Boom. Back. Rear check. Boom. Back. And 1-2. Let's go. 4-hit combo here. Do it. Back to stance. Keep it square. I'll show you on Bob what it looks like. And keep moving. If you got a Bob of your own, it's an excellent tool for improving accuracy. Step in for the 1-2. Square up and check that kick. Check. Back to stance. 1-2. Square up. Check the kick. Boom. And back to stance. 1-2. Square up. Check the kick. Bam. Back to stance. Now we're going to start mixing in that roundhouse technique. And I don't want you to toss the kick yet. Just get used to turning through the hip. We're going to block that lead kick. Let's do it. Bring the knee up to the inside. Step back into your balanced stance. Turn the hip. Go ahead and turn that hip over, pivoting, rotating through the body. Whoosh. And chop that arm down. Back to stance. Square up. Hit him with the 1-2. Let's do it. Square up. Block that lead kick. Blocked and twist through the hip. Chop that hand at the same time as you twist through that hip. Get that motion going. Rotation and that's the end of round 1. Catch your breath, drink some water. We're going to start lifting that foot off the ground and delivering some roundhouse kicks in this next round. We got 50 seconds. 50 seconds to catch your breath and drink some water. Woo. And if you've been following the journey, you know that the Beat Depression bus is off in Colorado at Eurobus. Shout out to Eurobus. Getting repaired, getting ready to make its trip back across the states. In the meantime, I've got a transportation issue to solve, and I'll be trying to solve that today so that I can bring you more free mental health care and serve my local area. So stay tuned for an update on that. We're definitely going to be working on some new stuff. We got 12 seconds, and we're going to pop back into Muay Thai stance, starting with those checks, and we're going to start tossing some kicks into the ribs of that depression dummy. Woo, let's do it. Square up in Muay Thai stance. Guard nice and high, chin tucked. Curl those hips, bend those knees. Keep the weight on the balls of the feet. Now we're going to bring that lead knee up to the inside of the elbow. Check that lead kick. Boom. Right there. Now as soon as we step down, we're going to toss that lead roundhouse kick by pivoting on the rear foot, turning those hips over just like we practiced, chopping the arm at the same time. Turn those hips over and drive that foot around. Toss that foot around. Back to stance. We're pivoting on the rear foot. Bring that lead knee up to the inside of the elbow to check the kick. Checked. And then go ahead and you could step off the line a little bit on the back foot and toss it. Boom. Toss it and come back to stance. Square up, lead check, boom. Lead roundhouse, whoosh, boom. If you don't have the room to rotate around, make it a low roundhouse, right? You can give yourself more space. Here, lead check, boom. Low roundhouse, whoosh, boom. Twist it around, chop that arm. It's hard to do in slow motion, but you get the idea. If you got the room to pivot all the way around, please do so. Check that kick and roundhouse. Boom, around, back to stance, square up. We're gonna start with the lead check now. Bring that rear check, bring that knee up, inside of the elbow, step off the line, twist through the hip, and send that roundhouse through the body of the opponent. Make sure you're rotating through those hips. Let's try it again. Rear check, boom, step off the line, pivot on that front foot, and drive that shin right through the target. If you've got a bob, it feels great on bob. Let's practice together. Lead check, boom, step in, twist, roundhouse, and back to stance. Rear check this time, right? Check the kick, boom, and rear roundhouse, boom. There it is, back to stance. Lead check, let's do it again. Check that kick, lead roundhouse, twist, and back to stance. Rear check again, bring the knee up, shell and twist. Rear roundhouse, back to stance. Guard high. Remember to chop that arm in the opposite direction as a counterweight and keep it moving. Check the lead kick, boom, roundhouse, bah, and back to stance. Rear kick check, boom, rear roundhouse, twist, and back to stance. Lead check, let's do it, check, boom, lead roundhouse, twist, and back to stance. Rear check, bang, rear roundhouse, twist, and back to stance. It feels great when you got that resistance, that feedback, but if you don't have it, go at your own pace, adapt to your environment. Lead check, boom, lead roundhouse, wuss, rear check, boom, rear roundhouse, wuss, and back to stance. That's the end of round 2. Catch your breath, drink some water, check in on you. Shout out to When Roses Blossom and Carmen Collins, the smile aunt out there, Carm. Love you, Carm. Thanks for the support. Appreciate that fam support coming in. Make sure you're drinking water. We got one more round left, and this one we're going to add in the teep and put all those moves together in a nice flow-based session. All right, we got 28 seconds. And when we talk about the teep, it's a push kick, it's a driving kick. It's like you're pushing on a gas pedal straight forwards. Power's coming through those hips again, but instead of rotation this time, it's coming from driving those hips forwards, letting the shoulders go backwards. And we still can put some hip rotation in there for extra measure. So let's practice together. Guard up high, Muay Thai stance. Lead leg comes up. We're gonna bring those hips back, preload in that shot. Let yourself stay centered. Hips come back, drive through, boom. Drive through with the ball of foot, chopping the arm at the same time. You'll notice the balance translates through all moves. You can learn balance with the roundhouse kicks is going to help you with the teep kicks as well. Let's square up and practice some of those teeps. If you got that bob dummy for feedback, great. If not, visualize that beat depression dummy. And let's do it. Lead teep, boom, and back. Try and bring the foot right back and get right back into stance. Rear teep this time. Boom, and back to stance. Lead teep, and back. Rear teep, and back. Square up. If your leg can't get up to center mass, right? Our goal is center mass. Wuss. If your leg doesn't get there, fight dirty. Go for the groin. Lead teep, boom, to the groin, back to stance. Or go for the kneecap. Teep that kneecap, boom, back to stance. Rear teep this time. And back. Rear teep to the groin. And back. Rear teep to the kneecap, and back, square up, keep it squared. And let's get back into those roundhouses. Lead check, bang, checked. Now lead roundhouse, go, wuss, boom, back to stance, square up. Rear check, bang, rear roundhouse, wuss, and back to stance. Keep it square, keep it tight. If you got that bob, use them. Let's toss those fundamentals back in, step in for the 1-2. Square up, check the lead kick. Checked. Now lead roundhouse. Puss. Drive through that hip. Turn that hip over. Rear check. Let's go. Boom. Rear roundhouse. Puss. And back to stance. Hit him with the 1-2. Puss, puss. Back in. Drive that teep. Let's go. Puss. Back to stance. Lead check. Bring it into the inside of the elbow. Back to square. Lead roundhouse. Puss. Back to stance. Rear check, let's go, boom, rear roundhouse, puss, back to stance, drive through that hip, use the hand as a counterweight, step in for 1-2, back to stance, square up, 1, 2, back to stance, lead teep, push, back to stance, check that kick, bam, lead round, boom, check the kick from the backside, bam, rear round, push, back to stance, step in for the 1, 2, pop, pop, square up and block, then counter with the roundhouse, block and round, back to stance, block that rear kick, bring it up and round, boom, drive through those hips, teep them, knock them back, push, let him come forward, get him with the 1, 2, pop, pop, he's tossing a kick, block it, round, back to stance, rear kick this time, block it, round, back to stance, 1, 2, let's go, square up and teep, push, and that is the end of round 3. Woo. I hope that you pushed yourself to your skill level. Hope you gave yourself a challenge and found room to grow, room to improve. And I hope that you had fun. Most of all, it's important to make these rounds fun. Woo. Not just make them challenging for you, but make them fun for you. That way you'll come back, you can make it your own, and enjoy making that progress for yourself mentally and physically. Woo. So mix it up, find those striking patterns you enjoy most, work them into your own personal routine, and mix in those other mental health tools to make it super effective, like visualization, thought association. Remember to assign that target, the thing you want to work on, and really exhale through those punches, exhale through those shots to get rid of that stress and that activated anxious feeling. Woo. Until next time, stay hydrated, keep challenging yourself, and I'll catch you guys same Sack time, same Sack channel, same Sack life. Sackman out.